So, okay. So I feel like I never talk about Ilana's stuff. So I went to look at Ilana's videos today, and she had, a topic about breakfast foods, like traditional breakfast foods and things that you think are healthy, because probably say it on the front of the label, that may not be so healthy. So I thought that was a good topic, because I feel like I've been hearing that a lot with my own clients and stuff, just like, hey, what about this, thing? What about this box? What about this cereal? What about these things? And so it's good to talk about, because I mean, we're so fed, this is good for you, this is healthy, you need to have this in your diet, you need to have that in your diet. And it's overwhelming at times. So it's good to kind of talk through the things that we've been fed are healthy, and do they really fit in the plan? And are they really essential? Are they giving us the things that you think it's giving you? So let's dive into that, and first let's talk about, what do you guys eat for breakfast? Let's say this: what did you eat before you were part of Beachbody for breakfast, and what do you eat now?
I didn't eat breakfast.
Okay.
I was like not a breakfast eater. I'm still not really a big breakfast eater, but now in the morning when I drink my Energize, we talked about previously these protein muffins I was getting from this meal service that I was having do all my meal prep. But they won't ship them to me. Like, I called the company, I was like, will you just mail them? Like, I will pay for the shipping. And they're like, we can't do that. And I was like, but my muffins.
Right. You're like, you don't understand. I need my muffins.
I was really sad about these muffins. So I recently found this company called Susie's.
Okay.
And it's a grain-free, gluten-free, paleo approved, which doesn't mean anything to me. 4 grams of protein, 9 grams of sugar, which is like, but I've been eating these in the morning, and then my actual breakfast will be chicken sausage, Applegate chicken sausage, steamed broccoli, and Recover. Mm-hmm. Usually not all together, because that's a weird combination.
Right, yeah, that sounds delicious. Just mix your Recover right in there. It's like a sauce.
Right, exactly. So yeah, that's kind of the 2 breakfasts. So maybe at this point I'm just a hobbit, but that's kind of what my morning food looks like.
Right. How about you, Kim? What are you normally eating for breakfast, or what did you eat prior to Beachbody for breakfast?
Oh, that's a funny question. You know the answer to that. So before Beachbody, I had a big gulp from 7-Eleven.
Woo! All right.
Processed crackers. That was my breakfast for like 20 years.
Man,
what was the
that's
big
good.
Gulp? Was it a Coke, a Diet Coke?
No, regular Coke.
Regular Coke.
The sugar baby. Yep, it was Coke.
Oh, wow.
No, Diet Coke's bad for you.
That regular Coke, it's totally good. It's totally good.
Great. Regular, just give me the regular sugar. So yeah, so now it is, Shakeology with a banana and PB2.
Man, that is a big shift. I love it.
That is a big one.
Wow.
How about you, Kelly? Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I was like about to fall off my bed. I have to really, I'm going back. I don't even know how old am I? I have to think about this. How many years? Because it's been forever, but I can tell you like my worst breakfast ever. And that's been like 20 years ago. So maybe maybe that was more 30 years ago. I was in college. So freshman, sophomore college. So I used to go to McDonald's and get not 1, but 2 of the big breakfast. Yeah, I'd eat that.
Nice.
2 of them. That's when I approached almost 220 pounds. So that was my worst eating. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not that tall either, Kelly, are you? I think we're the same height. You're what, 5'6"?
Almost 5'5". Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot of weight for my height. So, but now, well, my first meal, and it's still breakfast, but it's really lunchtime.
Right. Yeah. Cause you do IF. Yeah.
Well, not really. I just shift my hours. I just don't want to get the extra meal. I just don't want to have the extra breakfast meal. So I just shift everything over. So, It just depends. Like today I had just, and it's more kind of like just a snack, just to hold me over until I can actually eat something. But I had like a Cliff Bar. So sometimes it's that. Sometimes I'll actually have time and make me an omelet, and that'll be like my real breakfast. So of course, just putting, I'll do a couple of eggs. Sometimes I'll just do egg whites and put some veggies in there, and turkey, sausage, some cheese. Gotta have some cheese. Sometimes it's avocado, just depends what I have. But that's usually what I'm doing for breakfast these days. So yeah, but completely different from
McDonald's.
That's like my worst meal ever. Yeah, but it's a lot better.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Lily, I don't know if you can talk or if you want to skip it.
Driving again, of course. I had to think about this one. It's been so long since I've drank Shakeology. I used to have, and I still do, but my portion size has changed. I used to have yogurt, which was full fat yogurt, if possible, with probably vanilla flavoring, and like probably a cup of granola, and whatever berries or nuts that I could find, or both. And yeah, just lots of extra sugar in there from all my granola, which I had no idea.
But that would still be considered like healthy breakfast, right? You've picked all the buzz things. You got your yogurt, you've got your nuts, your little granola.
But I was eating like all of my calories in one meal.
Right.
Literally. If you fill your bowl full of yogurt and then you dump a cup of oatmeal or granola on it, which has extra sugar in it, plus dried fruit, plus the nuts, plus the regular, fruit of whatever you were putting on it, and then sometimes I'd mix honey in there as well, of course.
Right.
So yeah, I was basically eating all my calories in one meal.
Was it flavored yogurt too?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure it was like vanilla something, because I didn't know any better.
Yeah, because who really bought plain yogurt before following a nutrition plan? I mean, no.
No. And a lot of times my favorite yogurt was peach. I'm sure it probably wasn't even peach. It was probably like peach flavoring with like a bunch of sugar in it. So
yeah, exactly.
That was my favorite.
Bev, I don't know if you want to share, or if you're just listening and we're talking about the breakfast you had prior to following nutrition plans and your breakfast now. Wait and see. All right, so let's talk about the breakfast. So she went through some really traditional things, and yogurt was one of them. And what's interesting, right, about yogurt is a lot of people view yogurt as healthy, right? Like that's a healthy breakfast. But if you're not looking for certain things on the label, you can totally put yourself off track with way too much sugar and not enough protein. Because yogurt generally has a good amount of protein. If it's not like it, depending on what type it is and what they've done to it. Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit. One of the things she talks about is making sure that when you turn that label over, your protein is higher than the sugar grams. So you should have more grams of protein than you have sugar grams. Okay. Sugar generally, in kind of as a rule, 5 grams seems like a added sugar. Less than 5 grams is kind of a good rule of thumb. There's going to be, especially when you have a lactose-based yogurt, if it's not almond milk or coconut milk based, you are going to have natural sugars that occur. So you're looking at the added sugar line to make sure that that is what you want. And then one of the things she talks about too is that with those alternate milks, sometimes they add even more sugar in them to make them better. So just because it's an almond milk base or a coconut milk base, you really want to, again, like we've always talked about, turn that, label over, look and see how many added sugars are in it and the ingredients in it to know if it's going to fit. And obviously plain Greek yogurt is the most nutritionally fitting in our nutrition plans, most protein, least amount of added sugar. There's naturally occurring sugar. And then you can take that and mold it into whatever you want. I don't know how many people have done the Wonder Whips. She's famous. Ilana's famous for that. Yep, they're super good. And I found a granola at Whole Foods that I really like. I think it's called Michelina's. I'll have to take a picture of it. But it's got some nuts in it. So it would probably be more like a yellow and a little bit of a blue. I'll have to check out my containers on that one. But it doesn't have as much sugar as a lot of them. And I've been finding that to be really nice. And I'm really loving those Two Goods yogurt ever since Mariana brought it on the call. Like, I love those things. And now they have a lemon and a black cherry, and I'm all over those. Those are super good. So making sure you're checking that sugar is the most important. And then obviously that it actually has more protein than sugar, the other important thing. So sorry, Bev, do you want to talk about your pre and post breakfast now? So we were talking earlier about what kind of breakfast you had before you kind of started on nutrition plans, like what you thought was a healthy breakfast, and then what you eat now traditionally.
Okay, so what I thought was healthy. So
or kind of what your breakfast was pre Beachbody.
Well, pre Beachbody, it would have been cereal, Pop-Tarts, toaster strudels. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I guess like pancakes or waffles or French toast or something like that.
Yeah.
If I had time to cook on a weekend. Oh, biscuits and gravy.
Oh yeah, I can make a mean biscuits and gravy. I haven't made those in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, really just I loved breakfast. A lot, because it's very carby. And I love cereal. And by cereal, I meant maybe I would have done shredded wheat or a granola as being a healthier option, but I loved like all cereals except for like I don't know, like the ones that were supposed to be healthy, like Special K or any of those.
Right.
Like grape nuts were nasty.
I could never get into grape nuts.
They multiply.
Oh, those are the best.
Yeah,
No.
I could never choke those guys down.
No.
I used to put Splenda on Special K.
No.
Yum.
Just the,
That'll solve the problem right there.
No,
because
I just didn't like how they would get all like weepy and just like no.
Yeah.
I liked like now if I've actually had like cereal. It's been a while, but basically the cereals, they like coat your mouth with like some kind of weird funkiness. I don't even know, but
Sorry. Like peanut butter, Captain Crunch.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
and Reese's Puffs.
I got through college on Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries.
Yeah, but they tear up the roof of your mouth. I don't know
Totally.
what it
Yeah.
is.
No, you had to be in training for that. Like I could
Yeah.
go up to 3 bowls if,
Yeah.
like when
Oh,
I
yeah.
was really full on. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I would eat that at night too. So it was like, that was my evening snack too after dinner. But no, once I went to healthier options, it was like oatmeal. I ate so much oatmeal that I ended up growing a sensitivity to it, and have just recently started to use oatmeal back again in my carrot egg bake, because it's got a cup of oatmeal in it. But other than that, like I really don't. Maybe every once in a while I might make a dessert that has oatmeal in it. But that's about it. So, but yeah, I did a lot of oatmeal with like fruit. I underate when I first started.
Yeah.
I went Whole Foods, but underate.
Yeah. Yeah. Breakfast is one of those where I feel like if I'm going to overeat, breakfast is probably your time to do it, because you've got all day to like work through it and kind of make up for it as you go. And then you don't go to bed feeling but so that's a good segue too, because we've got, so obviously carbs, right, are a main thing in the morning. And she talks a little bit about carbs and how you should look at them. So we've talked about this before, but she gives some pretty good numbers here. Obviously, always read the label. And when you're looking at the label, 150 calories is roughly, or less, is roughly where she likes to have a serving. So if you're using To Be Mindset, that's where you would kind of start in that 150 calorie range for your half FFC in the morning and half protein. And that's similar to Autumn. She's a little bit lighter, 120, 130-ish, usually, depending on what it is. And then we've talked about this one a lot, the fiber to carb ratio. So that is 1 gram of fiber to 10 grams of carbs minimum. So that would be like the baseline to become a fiber-filled carb, an FFC. And then another one I hadn't heard her say before, but that it should have more grams of fiber than grams of sugar. So when you turn that over, the fiber should be higher than the sugar in order to be a good carb. And she likes to say, like, sometimes, you know, you have things that are made with different flours and, you know, like I know Mariana just had that muffin that said grain-free. She feels like if it tastes like a carb, track it like a carb. So, you know, depending on what your flours are, like if that used almond flour, then that could be considered
We
a
can
blue.
do the label later. I brought it for the label.
Yeah.
My husband tried to toss it. I was like, that's for my nutrition happy hour.
You're like, don't touch that.
He's like, it's Tuesday. I was like, it'll be here soon.
I love it. So, but her feeling is like, especially if you don't have a label or aren't quite sure, but if it tastes like a carb, then track it like a carb. So then she also talked about some of the milks, which we've had a lot of fun talking about in here. Oat milk is a popular new one. That is a carb. It does, a lot of brands do actually keep some of the fiber in, so it could be an FFC for you, but you're not getting, she's like, it's okay, but you're not getting the fortification that other things have. Like it doesn't, like a regular cow's milk usually adds some D, and has some iron fortification and some other things. So you get a little more nutrients with it, whereas the oat milk is not fortified. So, and they're both carbs, right? So you kind of want to pick the most nutrient dense that you can. But her favorite obviously is almond milk because it's so minor in calories. You have to make sure you get the unsweetened, and then you can pretty much use it as you wish, and you're not kind of using up all your calories with that. And then the last thing she had talked about, oh no, sorry, second to last, is the juices.
Dina,
What'd
I
you say?
have a question about the almond milk. So Cauliflower Farms is probably my go-to for almond milk. And the serving of that, I think, is, let's say 70 or 80 calories. Fine. But there's another brand of almond milk called Almond Milk, MALK, through Whole Foods. And it's almonds, filtered water, and that's it. It is 135 calories per 8-ounce serving. And so the disparity in caloric intake on that is astounding and terrifying because there's less stuff in it than there is in the Cauliflower Farm. So I didn't know if you could speak to that.
Yeah, so I think we talked a little bit about it before, and I don't remember the label exactly, but if I remember it, it had a higher fat, which means my guess is they're keeping more of the almond meat or oil in it, right? So because it has to be higher with those ingredient lists, it has to just have more of the almond staying with the milk rather than using the almond to flavor the water and then squeezing, you know, the fiber and the fat and the almond meat out of it.
Would it still count as the same then?
No, technically no. I mean, because you know, like a teaspoon isn't that many calories.
Right.
And you're assuming, I mean, Autumn's assuming on the plan that you're using a 30 or 40 calorie cup of almond milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Yeah, that makes sense. I hadn't thought I'll check out the fat content. I did not buy that one because I was like, this is just
You're stupid. Like, whoa, where?
Yeah. I was insulted actually, because you're going for things with labels that are usually, I try to look for things like 5 ingredients or less.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, this is amazing. And then I saw the calorie intake and I was like, well, I'm offended. And I put it down.
You're like, what is in here?
I was like, wow, I'm really glad I've learned to turn this label around.
Isn't it funny though? Like I can, you know, I mean, There's so many times people will post like a picture of the front and be like, does this count? And you're like, I don't know, turn it over, right? That's where the important information is.
It's
Definitely.
the same thing as gluten-free.
Yes.
I cannot even tell you how many people like, so my son just went over to his grandmother's and his aunt was cooking orange chicken and cauliflower rice, cauliflower and fried rice that was cauliflower rice. And I'm like, is it gluten-free? And her response to him was, well, it's from Trader Joe's.
I love that assumption too. Everybody thinks everything that comes out of Trader Joe's is like the healthiest.
Right. And if it's healthy, then it's gluten-free.
Right.
Like,
yes, there's that other connection too. Like,
It's like-
it's automatically it's gluten-free, so it must be good for me.
Same
yes.
thing with veganism.
Oh, yeah.
You must be healthy if you're vegan. Nope.
What's going on here? It's like, no, like, and so I'm like, just have her send you a picture of the ingredients label.
Right.
And because he was going to go over there and I'm like, I want to make sure that you have food. So I ended up sending him with food, so that he had food to eat, because otherwise he would have just sat there, which he's done already one other time. He ate like probably an entire bag of almonds actually one time while he was there, because they were serving stuff that had gluten in it. And it's like, she knows that you're gluten free, but she's keto. So that's all that matters.
Right.
Okay, well, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And you would think, even as keto though, like you would get used to looking at some labels.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
think, it so is just all in the label. It really is. It really is. If that's the one thing like I have learned through all of this, it's like you can't trust the front, right? You gotta just turn that thing over, see what's
Yep.
in it.
I also
Yep.
feel like I have a lot of customers that get gluten-free and vegan mixed up too. Like they
Oh,
think
yeah.
vegan is gluten-free for some reason.
Yeah, interesting. Well,
Yeah.
gluten comes from a plant, so
It is
you
vegan.
could still it is vegan, and you can still be vegan and have gluten, or be
And you can
gluten-free.
be vegan and not healthy. My brother-in-law
Yeah.
is extreme. Like when we joke he's a vegan jihadist because he's that like militant about being vegan, which is fine. We've all got our thing. But when he was living with us, I would watch him like house a sleeve of Oreos.
Right, because
And
vegan. It's vegan.
yeah. And then he's like hitting the Burger King drive-through. And I was like, I thought like as a vegan, you'd be concerned about what you're ingesting in your body because you're not trying to eat like dead animals. And he's like, I mean, it's vegan. And I was like, but I'm like, I don't even eat Oreos. Different strokes.
So, all right, we'll move on to our next segment. So the juice is one of the things I was going to hit on next. It was funny because a lot of people see like green juices and things, and maybe don't want to have to eat the green vegetables, but if you can mix it in this cute little juice, bottle, then it's a little easier to digest and get through it. But one of the ones she had, she doesn't show the label. I would guess it was either Naked or I can't remember the other green juice that's really popular, maybe Adwala. Anyhow, it had 13 teaspoons of sugar in it, just one bottle. So that's a lot of teaspoons of sugar to just be taking in. And some of it's from fruit, but it's still a lot of sugar without the fiber, therefore spiking your blood sugars and reacting in a totally different way than had you just eaten the whole fruits themselves that were in there. So, it used to be, have some juice with your breakfast, that's healthy for you or whatever. And it's like a sugary soft drink, essentially, without the carbonation at this point. And so, it's one of those things where you really have to turn the label. Her recommendation was to, if you need to get those greens in and hide them, just throw a handful of spinach in your Shakeology. You'll never taste it, or cauliflower rice. And then you're just all set, which I just had cauliflower rice with the cookies and creamy and a little bit of cocoa. I like that one kind of plain. It's kind of nice.
I love it. Just shaken with some chocolate, like little. I'm like Bev. I like to mix mine.
Yeah, I
do.
need to try
love
that.
it. I love it. Okay, so I actually do the original chocolate, no, let me rephrase that. It is not the original chocolate. Reverse. I do the regular chocolate.
The whey based chocolate. Yep.
And the cookies and creamy.
Oh.
And you mix them?
Yes. And if you do so the difference with the whey formulas and the vegan formulas are, if you do like just 2 ounces of a milk, like of a substitute milk, it makes it creamy like that. Like, I don't know what it activates in it, but it makes it so creamy. So, and then if you add the collagen boost, then it's really super, super creamy. So, that's what I do.
And you're getting crazy there. You're mixing whey proteins and pea proteins, and you're just like, what are we supposed to follow now?
I know, right?
I'm gonna have to try that. The chocolate, the
regular chocolate.
Yeah, regular chocolate.
Well, everything I have is vegan, so
well, you can try it that way too.
I'll try it and report back.
You know what I wonder too? What if you tried Recover with it just for the chocolatiness?
Ooh.
I mean, you're not going to get as many benefits with nutritionally because you won't have a full scoop of Shakeology, but for the chocolatiness, Recover might be. I'm going to try that. Might be good.
I do the vegan chocolate with my creamy. So
okay,
yeah.
So it's like half the cookies and cream and half the chocolate.
Yeah, I do like a lot of half and halves.
You should write up a little half and half cookbook.
You should do an Instagram story of your half and half.
Your half and
I'm
half.
so curious.
Oh my gosh, I do half and halves like all the time, except but see, the thing is it's because we get a lot of chocolate in our house. So and yeah, and my youngest, he only does the vegan formulas, and yeah, because he has to. He has dairy sensitivity. So but yeah, so I always leave as much as I can for him for that. So yeah, but that's why I usually do half and halves too.
I like it. I see an ebook in your future. Yeah,
like even all the seasonal flavors, always half and halves with those two. It stretches them. you get 2 days for every one packet because a lot of them are very powerful. So like it doesn't hurt to cut their flavoring down a little bit.
Right. All right, this feels like the funniest night because I just want to chat and not like even go through the list of things I have right now. I just
don't even know how I got on that subject.
Right. All right, we got one more thing to get through. One more. This is it. This is the last part of Ilana's video. So she talks about the add-ins. You know, I mean, To Be Mindset's famous for the accessories, right? That's how you kind of make things your own and delicious and, sustainable. So she talks about the add-ins, a lot of times with breakfast, you're adding in maybe a little more sweetener if you want to do some maple syrup or honey, maybe some chocolate chips. So those things you just really need to make sure that you are tracking, or like Lily talked about, adding in the granola, the dried fruits, the nuts. Just make sure that you are keeping track of those quantities so that you know if that's working for you. And obviously try it, track it, and see how it's going. Or if you are on Portion Fix, then take some of those containers and work your magic together with those to make what you would like to have with your yogurt or with your pancakes or whatever you're having. I need to make those whole wheat pancakes we made from that one meal prep because those things were delicious and I miss having them now.
Those were yummy.
They were really good.
Like day. My kids ate all day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah,
I froze because I did it in waffle form and froze them, and they a month later, I found a couple more down in the bottom and I'm like, ooh, let's see how they are. And they were totally good. So they freeze well. All right. That's enough of that topic. So what do we got for labels and fun? And what do we want to talk about here? I know we got a muffin.
We have a muffin. So, and actually when I bought these, I thought of you, Bev, because it is grain-free, gluten-free, paleo, no grains, dairy, gum, soy, GMOs, or peanuts. And this is the banana chocolate muffin because their blueberry muffin was not very good. You can find these in the frozen food section, where you will find it. And you can put them in the freezer for up to a year, refrigerate up to 10 days. And usually what I do is I take one out of the freezer at night and set it on the counter next to my energized cup, so I don't have to stumble too far in the morning to get to it. And the serving size is 1 muffin, thankfully. It is 170 calories.
Oh, that's suggested serving size.
Yeah, the serving size is 1 muffin and it's 170 calories, so you really have to want it in the morning, basically. Fat calories is 80, total fat is 9 grams. Let's see here. So sodium's 155 milligrams, which isn't too bad. Total carbs, though, kind of makes you want to sit down a little, 19 grams. But then we redeem ourselves at the dietary fiber, which is 4 grams. Sugars is 9 grams. Protein is 4 grams. And then the ingredients, the very first ingredient out of the gate is banana, grain-free flour blend, which is blanched almond flour, arrowroot flour, coconut flour, cage-free whole eggs, filtered water, maple syrup, which is how they're, looks like that's how they actually sweeten it. Oh, they also use chocolate chips, which are dried cane syrup, etc. So that's kind of everything. There's like obviously other stuff in here, but everything in here, I would be able to go get it myself. But I'm not committed to these, is what I'm saying.
So, well, I actually was shocked that the carbs were as low as they were. So, but your primary is almost a blue there. Like you got a lot of fat going there compared to your protein and your carbs. It's probably equal in blue and yellow. Because let's see, 19 times 4 is like roughly 80, a little bit less. And then your fat grams or fat calories were 80, right? So you're actually highest on the fat. So it fits into the macronutrient of fat the most. Carb second, but close second. So they're almost equal. Protein the least. So it's not going to count as a protein at all. So you're kind of a blue and a yellow there. Which
it doesn't make me angry.
Okay.
I'm really sad about my protein muffins, honestly. But I don't know, I'm not committed either way. I don't think I guess I volleyed this to you guys and what your thoughts are, if this is really that bad.
I don't know. The ingredient list sounded good. I mean, there's nothing bad, there's nothing like you'd steer away from in it.
No, coconut sugar.
I think the sugars were a little bit high, wasn't it? Like 9 or something?
9 grams of sugar, which is
that's a little high.
The lowest sugar I found in a processed muffin.
Yeah, well, I can believe that. I know Autumn's got some blender muffins and some banana-based muffins. I wonder
what's a blender muffin?
There's a blueberry, like you blend it, and then I think you put the blueberries in to bake it. I'll look up some recipes, but there's some really good muffin recipes on Fixate and on the blog that might be a good substitute. And you make them once, stick them in the freezer, and then you got Mariana's.
That would be incredible. I would love that. Yes, please share all the recipes, because this has been, Bev, I think you came late to the conversation. I've been mourning my protein muffins that I was getting from my meal prep service in Florida, to the point where I called them and asked if they would mail them to me and I would pay for the shipping. And they were like, no, we're not going to do that.
You're like, you don't understand.
Right. Yeah. So like every once in a while throughout the past few weeks, I just look at my husband and like, but my muffins. So it's been really sad. We've been working through that here in the Reichwalder household.
Can you not find a place in New York? I cannot even imagine in a million years that there is not some, like, I mean, the quantity of human beings that is in the city of New York and the amount of food service that has to be available. I just
and health conscious. There's a whole group of health conscious people there.
You would think
Yes.
so. I have gone through, I've been trying various meal services, and the first one we tried, the caloric intake, the calorie count on their meals was obscene. I like, if it teeters over like 530 calories, I'm like, you need to sit down. I'm not eating that. My husband's like, this is fantastic. I was like, yeah, because it's literally like not where we're supposed to be in our caloric intake at dinner. And then I ordered another one, and he doesn't like it. It's okay, it will work, but they're not doing protein muffin breakfasts. That's what I can't find. I can't find a company that makes a protein muffin like the ones I was getting back home. So
Okay,
I've
this is our
tried to
new
search
mission.
recipes
Are
to
we-
like do something.
Yeah, I would be looking at like maybe like groups that might be local to you that have healthy, conscious people in them that may have recommendations. Because I can't remember what the name of the food service is, but I stumbled into a group and I don't even remember which group it is anymore. And I don't remember what the name of the food service thing was either, but it was like, they do not use any crap in their food service. And it was like, I mean, even some of the best stuff that I've seen, it wasn't, it was like a Blue Apron or something like that, but it was, so you still had to make your food. It didn't come like 100% prepared. But I really haven't seen that. Like, I mean, most of those still fall into a category where it's like, okay, that's too much sugar, that's too much salt, that's okay, no, I can't do that. It's like there's always components that it's like I would end up having to tear that apart and make it myself anyway. That would be such a waste of money for me.
Yeah,
and my
I thought
family.
about going to there's a CrossFit gym over here, and I thought about going to the gym and talking to the people at the gym and being like, where do you get your food? Like, I am that psychotic about trying to find it, because the meal prep service we had was amazing, and really they're muffins. But anyway, so it's been a period of adjustment, friends.
You could go hang out outside of Peloton and be like, hey, where do you guys get muffins?
I should. Like, where do you get your food and your muffins? But yeah, so I've been looking, and I tried to find like a Shakeology recipe, but everything I've been finding is so calorically dense or driven in sugar that I'm like, I don't want that in the morning. So for now, we're just gonna eat some Susie's. Well, when you send me the recipes, I might give those a whirl this weekend.
Yeah, well, the Kim brought up the banana recipe. That was, I think, one of our first meal prep classes, and that one was really good. My kids ate those too, which they're pretty picky about that stuff, but that was a good one. And it'll have all the nutritional information because it was on the blog. So I'll put them in.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll explore muffins.
Yeah, there's a lot of muffins. There's a chocolate one too that's pretty much, well, it's really
like
more
brownie.
like a cupcake. Yeah, it's more like a cupcake.
Ooh,
and in
so
fact,
good.
I mean, that's what I make them as. And I put more chocolate chips in them because I make them for my son, and then I put them in the freezer.
Yeah,
they freeze well.
I've had those. Those are really super good. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is good. Yeah, no, this is helpful stuff.
We will fix the muffin. It's Muffin Gate. We will fix
it is Muffin Gate. It is. It's a problem.
Well, and you could probably put in you could probably sub in Recover. I'm like pointing at my Recover. You can't see it. You could put in Recover. The thing over there in the container.
Yeah, that might even be better than Shakeology, because Shakeology, you're going to hurt some of the nutrients, whereas Recover, you're not.
Yes.
And you get it. I think I like the chocolate flavor of Recover better than chocolate Shakeology personally. So, but
you can bake with that.
Yeah, you can bake with most protein powders. I don't believe it breaks down the protein itself. It's more if they have extra ingredients in it, like Shakeology does, where you're hurting, like the pre and probiotics. I think you kind of kill off those guys.
Yes, and the digestive enzymes.
Isn't the Recharge vanilla?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if
it's kind of like moon sand. It's like it's a different kind of vanilla.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah. I like it, but like a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah. I think it tastes like cotton. I think it tastes like cotton candy.
Yeah, I thought like marshmallowy type. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yes, marshmallow.
Do you bake with it, you think, or do you think it's too gritty?
You could try.
I don't know.
It's not really gritty. It's not anymore like than Recover. It's unusually fluffy in the thing. Like I don't know, it's like weird. But you could
It
try.
gets frothy if you blend it. It gets frothy.
It has a tart cherry in it. I don't know if that survives through it, but that helps with your sleep and you creating your own melatonin. So you could have one before nighttime.
It probably just changes, like, you know, how, you know, when you bake certain things, when certain vegetables or nutrients are baked or cooked or whatever, it just changes what type of nutritional value you get. Not necessarily decreases it, but just shifts things around. So.
Yeah.
I've also heard, since we deal with sensitivities and stuff, that there are some people who will have a sensitivity to like one particular protein source, and if they combine it with other protein sources, like say pizza, for instance, you have different forms of protein, and I don't mean like meat, different types of meats. I mean like different the different sources of protein, like what's in your crust and what's in your cheese and what's in the meat, and when they get combined together, the body will tolerate it differently because it's absorbed differently. And you get there's a nutritional difference than opposed to when it's cooked separately and you eat them separately. There's something that actually changes in the proteins. That was something that I read about quite some time ago. But so some people will find that they might be sensitive to like cheese or something like that. But then when it's put like into a certain combination, it may not affect them as negatively. I have not tried this, but it was very fascinating when I was reading about it because it made sense, but it, especially since, you know, like spinach, for instance, it when it's raw, it's different than if it's cooked. You get different benefits from it in those two different ways. So it definitely, there are things that change when they're baked. So it makes sense that when they're then cooked together, that there could be some type of chemical reaction that occurs during that process.
Right. And your absorption is different depending on raw, you know, processed, whatever, cooked, however it's done.
Right. Same thing as when you're like, for me, like if I'm eating chicken, I tolerate it better if I have like some source of fat with it because I don't have a gallbladder. And for some reason, ever since that occurred, it just, my body tolerates it better that way. So.
Isn't that funny? I thought you were going to say the opposite. I thought you were going to say like foods that might be okay separately, when you combine them, then you have a problem. Like for me, I can eat pizza or I can eat salad, but if I eat pizza and salad, that's a disaster.
Well, it could be though. I mean, because if it can be one way, then why couldn't it be the other?
Right.
It could totally be that way.
So I never have salad with my pizza. Like it
interesting.
seems like idea, no, it upsets my stomach almost immediately. I don't know why.
Wow. I wonder what it is.
That's like one of my favorite things to have is pizza salad.
I know. I can put arugula on my pizza, but and I'm fine with that. But like, I think it's the dressing, and it may just have been at my, well, no, at you know, a couple of my favorite pizza restaurants. That maybe it was the dressing something they put in the dressing in like oil and vinegar. I don't know what it was, but.
Well, and if they're using
a really bad summer at the beach one year until I figured it out.
Yeah, because sometimes the dressings, they're all like processed, kind of not very good. If they're from home making it, you know, it might be a different. Maybe they're putting something in there so that it's the suspension stays, or you know, it stays together, kind of a thing, and that's what's irritating. It'd be interesting to find out, Kim.
Yeah,
I mean, it'll take a little bit of work, so I don't know that it's, you know, high on the priority list, but just stop having the pizza with the salad for now.
It's a good excuse. Yeah, like
You're like, no, I don't need the salad. Just bring the pizza.
Maybe it was the beer or the Coca-Cola or the water I was drinking with it. I don't know either. Like,
right?
Could have been one of those too, but I took the salad out first. That was the first to go.
That's funny. Do you have a label, Lily?
I do. I have two actually.
Okay.
So cheese, cauliflower crackers.
You are like the best at finding all the
Oh
cauliflower
my
products.
gosh. I should have taken a
Oh,
picture of something
I'm
today.
determined.
So
I'm determined. I need healthy, fast snacks when I'm working on an event like this that are somewhat healthy, than grabbing like regular chips or some other crap, basically, or multiple beach bars in a day. So I found these, and you get 50 crackers for 100 calories.
Did you say 50?
Yeah,
15 or like 50? 50?
yes,
Dang.
yeah,
Wow.
50.
Yeah. Okay.
So, 2 grams of fat, 325 milligrams of sodium, which is quite a bit, 18 grams of carb, 2 dietary fibers, 2 sugars, and 2 grams of protein. So, and then the ingredients are cauliflower, whole grain rice, cassava, potato starch, rice flour, potato flakes, cassava starch. What's that? What is RSPO plain palm oil?
RSPO.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like palm oil. Palm
Oh,
could be a
it's
thing where it's like,
it's a sustainable palm oil.
that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, because palm is
Okay.
one of those things where it's killing other animals. So it can, when they harvest it. So yeah, it's probably one that has more responsibility. Oh,
It's
responsibly,
certified.
wait, it's probably responsible.
It says Roundtable
Oh.
certified. It said it was Roundtable on sustainable palm oil. It
Okay.
aims to transform markets to make sustainable palm oil the norm. So look at you, Lily, helping the rainforest.
You're helping the orangutans.
Yes, you're
I
saving
eat
the
my crackers.
Yeah. So how many calories were a serving?
100.
100. Okay. Yeah. So the starches are just what's holding the cracker together, right? So it sounds like your main ingredient's cauliflower. It uses the
Yeah.
potato starches and the cassava to, like, get everything to stay together in the cracker. But sounds decent. It's I don't remember the fat now, but it's still under a yellow.
2 grams of.
Yeah.
It.
So it sounds like yellow it's still a carb is the highest macronutrient.
Yeah, at 18 grams.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
2 fat, 18 grams of carbs, 2 fibers, 2 protein.
Yeah.
So, but I figured it was better than like probably whole wheat crackers or some junk like that. So, and then I also found these ones, which are like breakfast
Ooh.
sausage, which are also cauliflower.
Mm.
So they're not as good for you at all because for one sandwich is 290 calories. So 20.
Well, it doesn't mean it's
grams.
bad. Doesn't mean it's bad yet.
Well, okay, yes, but again, if you go back to 150 calories for a serving,
Yeah, but this is going to be
over.
this is going to be 2 containers combined for sure, right? Because I'm sure you've got a protein product in there, like an egg or a meat, and then you've got what would be your bread. So you're at least a yellow and a red, and maybe a teaspoon, and so it's a more complete meal, is what it is.
Yeah. So it's 20 grams of fat. It's 620 sodium.
That's a little high.
8 grams of carbs, 4 grams of fiber, 2 grams of sugar, and 18 grams of protein.
Yeah, so they but the outside's supposed to be cauliflower because
the ingredients is cauliflower buns, which are cauliflower, mozzarella cheese, pasteurized milk, cheese cultures, salt, enzymes.
It's the cheese because your fat's really high on those.
Yeah. So that's the 20 grams. And then it has an egg patty, bacon, and then cheddar cheese on it. But I took the cheddar cheese off a lot because it was just kind of looked gross, and added avocado, so made more fat.
Yeah. Well, that's going to sustain you right now, and that's totally fine.
Yes. So I was interested in trying it. It works really well in the toaster oven because you can literally pop it in and flip it, and
Yeah.
it works really well. I put lettuce on it the first day when I had it, which was it was actually pretty good with a slice of tomato and lettuce. And then I put avocado on it this morning. So.
Yeah. You know, back to your crackers. I'm really curious what Autumn would say about like if a green fits in there. Like when
the first ingredient was cauliflower.
Right. And like at what point in the processing does it still remain a green as part of the crackers, because the highest ingredient is cauliflower, or because it's processed in a, you know, like I don't know how much fiber it takes out and where the line is. Like, is that just a yellow because it's like a cracker form, or is it still part of a green? So I don't know. I'm kind of curious how, like, where she would be on that, or the nutritionist would be on that, because I have I just automatically assume, right, it's a cracker. And so in my head, it's a carb, but a lot of those carbs are from the cauliflower.
Yeah. I mean, it has, a vegetable blend in it. I didn't get to that in the ingredients, but it has, lentil flour, and then the vegetable blend is spinach, broccoli, carrots, tomatoes, beets, shiitake mushrooms, garlic powder, and rosemary. So those are the last ingredients though.
Right. Yeah, that probably adds some flavor, and then depending on if it's moist or not, it would help.
Yeah, and they're not bad.
Where did you get those?
Safeway. Because there's no other. I mean, we're in a parking lot, so I had to like run to this closest store possible in the 10 minutes that I had.
You get to take the Maseratis or whatever you're driving to the Safeway.
Yeah, people are looking at me funny, like, why are you driving a Maserati in this neighborhood right here?
This is my go to the store car.
Casual.
I should have taken the Maybach, but it probably would have got stolen.
I love it.
Oh.
So those crackers that you got today, or that you got, are similar to the crackers that I saw at Aldi today that drew my attention, because I'm always interested at the way Aldi markets stuff and gets my money or other people's money. And but oh, sorry. There's like a storm, and I thought I heard somebody knocking, and it wasn't. It was just thunder. Anyway, but I can't find the actual like nutritional value in here, but I found the ingredients list, and it's very similar in some ways, but then also different, because they were purple carrot crackers, gluten-free and vegan. And the first ingredient was carrot, orange and purple, then rice flour, cassava starch, potato starch, whole grain rice, potato flakes, RSPO palm oil.
That must be all the rage right now.
I guess. Beet, sea salt, baking powder, onion, garlic, vegetable blend of spinach, broccoli, carrot, tomato, beet, shiitake mushrooms, rosemary extract, and parsley.
Those sound really good.
That doesn't sound 100% like the label that I read, because I also read sugar on the one that I picked up. So this one must be a little bit different than the one that I read, because I know it had sugar in it.
This one, I think Lily's had 2 grams of sugar.
This has sugar too, and these also came in, I want to say, what were the other flavors? Oh, sweet potato was one of them, but it didn't have as much, had more carbs and less fiber for some reason. And then they had kale one as well, and then one other. There was like 4 flavors. So.
But it was like sugar was on. It wasn't like in the nutritional facts.
It was like in the ingredients.
Yes. Yeah,
well,
and that's why I put it back. It was a maltodextrin. There was a maltodextrin in there, and it was towards the end. And I'm like, back on the shelf you go. Thank you very much. We will be passing today. And that's literally what I do. I will pick it up and I'll be like, oh, all right. That was nice.
That's how I shop at the store too.
Yeah, but currently I am like housing, like they have the Aldi finds, they have a cassava tortilla chip. And so it is something that like, so my son actually does have sensitivities to corn. So I try to reduce the amount of corn that he gets. And so, yeah, I do. I've been picking up the cassava, and it's the cassava chips, which I could actually get that really quick.
Yeah. They have them at my grocery store, Lily. I think they also have them in a cheddar flavor, but I'm gonna resist. We know how I love my goldfish.
It's
Yeah, I bypassed. Well, there was another brand next to these that was cheddar. It was like organic cheddar, and then I turned it over and I was like, nope, these have way too much fat.
these are cassava. What?
There's actually 3 grams of fat in the cheddar ones, but anyways.
These are very high in carbs. I'm not even going to lie, but cassava flour is, I think.
Can I see the
It's in
label
different-
or the picture of it, Bev? What is the package?
Well, it
I'm not
looks like
here to
this. It looks like this because I have it already, like it's close. I would have to go get a bag that wasn't open.
Oh, no.
But it's cassava flour, sunflower oil, chia seeds, and sea salt.
Oh,
It is 19 chips or 28 grams. Calories are 140. Total fat is 7. Saturated 1. Poly unsaturated 5. Mono unsaturated 1. 19 grams of carb. 2 dietary fiber, and less than 1 gram of sugar.
Yeah, but that's still a good ratio. If 19 to 2.
Yeah. So, but yeah, here, they have it in line too.
Ooh.
But yeah,
What is the brand name?
it's Simply Nature. It's the Aldi, it's the Aldi's like more.
Do you have those,
organic.
Lily? Do you have all these? We don't have them here.
No, we don't have any.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't
we
know
might
if
have
the West Coast has them at all.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know.
Where are
I
you,
always
Bev?
see everybody's posts about their Aldi finds, and I'm like, we don't have
wait,
that.
Bev, where do you live?
Missouri.
Oh, for some reason I thought you were in Washington State. I don't know why. I have
Nope.
no idea.
Because I live in Washington, Missouri.
Probably.
Yeah, that's why.
I love Missouri. I was in Branson like a long time ago, and I really just had a gem of a time.
Oh, yeah. We went there for vacation on Memorial Day weekend this year with
Oh,
friends. Yep, it's a fun little area.
yeah, I love it.
Well,
Yep,
ladies,
really pretty.
I hate to cut it off.
No, I need to go.
I gotta go make dinner.
Yeah, I've got to finish reading a book for work.
I gotta finish my last car. And I'm gonna have a bottle.
And are
of
you
champagne.
done?
Well, until we have to go pick them all up on Monday. But yes.
Hey, if you're
Yes.
next to any kind of Smitten ice cream, there's one downtown for sure, but there's like 7 locations. Go get some. It's the best ice cream we've had down there.
Smitten.
Smitten, Smitten.
Okay, I'll look for it.
And it's not on the program.
That's totally cool. My champagne tonight won't be on my program either.
Exactly.
The only thing that I really ever do is look at carrageenan when it comes to ice cream.
Yeah.
That's what I'm always looking for, is if it doesn't have carrageenan, which it upsets me that Dairy Queen uses carrageenan, because that's like
Why?
the only
Does it
place that
matter what kind for you? Because there's 2 different kinds, right? Isn't there the kind that's from algae, and then there's like a kelp, and then there's a kind that's more synthetic?
I think they're all kind of, I mean, I think it's just how much you take in that matters. Because I feel like it's all derived from algae, but yeah.
So
think
why
it's all
don't
kind of
you eat it? Maybe this is an obtuse question, but I'm a little late to the game on this. So
I don't know either.
High intake of carrageenan can lead to inflammation in your digestive tract.
Mm.
Well,
So
what's high? Cone?
what?
What is high? If I have 1 ice cream cone, is that?
Well, I really can't answer that exactly. Like, I don't know like what the gram is, but I know that it's like in a lot of things that people don't really realize. Like they will put it in chicken to make it so that the chicken holds water.
Yeah.
And like, that was one of the things I think we were talking to you and some other people, Scott and I were talking about how we buy like more expensive chicken at Sam's, and we pay more per pound, but we bake out way less weight because it's not pumped with carrageenan in whatever solution that they put in there. So it doesn't get cooked out as much. I mean, it's still more expensive, but it's not as much of a loss. But yeah, I mean, you'll find it in a lot of the milk substitutes. You find it in a lot of ice cream, like dairy stuff.
It's like a stabilizer, isn't it? It holds it just keeps everything to stay.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense because the Khalifa Farms almond milk I buy, it says that it actually doesn't have it.
Oh, I thought it had it.
I don't know what the big deal is about this, but okay.
Yeah.
So.
Like so like that's one thing that I will look for all of my alternative milks. I never get it with carrageenan because So I mean, and when you deal with like an autoimmune issue, autoimmune diseases really have to do with inflammation in your body. So I took out like so much stuff that anything that could possibly, cause inflammation, I just tried pulling stuff down because I still want to be able to have like wine. I still want to be able to have certain things sometimes. So I just reduced the amount of inflammation that I reduced the amount of toxins that my body has to remove on a regular basis so that I can still have enjoyment and not be like feeling like crap all the time. It's just, and then sometimes I can actually not feel like crap when I have those treats because I'm not overloaded when I start having them. My body's able to handle it and not, crash or have a flare or something. So, and same thing with my my younger son. He's healed his gut so much. We've healed him up so much that he went to camp, and I know he had more sugars, and they were natural sugars because they had a very strict amount of like they were going to work with us. They actually had like chefs that made their meals. It was incredible. But he had way more just sugar in general. And even if he would have had high amounts of fruit, he would have, shown some sign of irritation. Mm-hmm. And he came home after 5 days and there was nothing. He's definitely at a healthier place than where we started for years ago, when he was 7, when we really found out everything that we could do to remove and help heal him. So, yeah.
Do they have what did you call it? Cardidium?
It's carrageenan. It might be said like, I might be saying it wrong, but that's how it's spelled. Carrageenan. C-A-R-R-A-G. What?
Is that listed on chicken? Like, I guess I'm like, it's chicken. Why would I bother looking at my chicken?
Yeah, it'll be listed in the solution. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna look now.
I know. Now I'm gonna start looking for it too.
Yeah. I mean, and it might be in other meats too, but we don't eat other meats, so I couldn't tell you.
They pump stuff. My family, my dad and my brother and all the males in my family are in the meat brokerage business. So just the things like, they do to our meat before you get it on your shelf is really, it's a wonder I don't
want
right? I know.
We eat a very, as I said, we eat an expensive grade of meat. But I mean, literally my hands would break out when I would work with the other chicken, because when I was really reactive, everything was reactive. So like I would be touching it and my hands would be burning, and it's like, why? It's like it hurts to just, and then like once it was cooked, it's still like I would be trying to portion, and it got to the point where Scott had to do it because I mean I would be like doing this while I'm trying to like portion food and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, if that's what's happening on the outside, just imagine what's going on the inside once it gets in there.
Right.
Like your body, like, so yeah, that's always the way that I think of it is I was just at a point of reactivity that I was able to see it externally, which is the same thing as like eczema and psoriasis and things like that. That stuff's going on the inside of you. That's just the external that you can see. So what's going on inside that's making that happen outside? So that's always what I think of whenever I'm dealing with something. It's like, well, how can I reduce what's going on the inside? So.
Yeah.
Good stuff, as always.
I know, right?
So much we can learn. So much.
Always.
All right, you guys.
There's so much
All right.
crap in our food
I
that
know.
doesn't be in there.
True story.
Yep. All
All
right.
right. Take
Well,
a picture.
Oh yeah. Now
We'll
that
take
there's
one quick of
four of us.
the people who stayed on. The remainers. Okay. I took it, so hopefully you weren't looking down.
Oh no.
Oh no.
All right.
All right, you guys. Well, we'll see you next week. And hopefully it's
Yep.
not 106. This is
I can't believe how hot it is up there. It's crazy.
it's totally dumb.
Is it
Glad I'm not there.
humid too? Do you guys have like,
It's more humid than we normally are. But we're not normally humid at all. And the smoke's rolling in right now too, which is an added bonus. So we're gonna have bad air quality tonight too.
all right, well,
That stinks.
Yeah.
climate
I'm
change is
sorry.
a thing, friends. We must find a solution.
Definitely. And I will get to the muffin recipes.
Thank you.
We'll have some
appreciate-
muffins tonight.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for that. I will keep you guys all posted.
Yeah, let us know.
No, seriously, but I hope you guys all have a fabulous weekend. This was the highlight of my week, as always.
It was good to
Always.
see you guys.
Having you log in this morning was awesome. I was like,
It
oh,
was
my God.
yeah.
so fun. It
Yeah,
was
all of a sudden you were like, hi, and I'm like,
Bev's like, who's
you were
this?
like this big on my screen across the room. I'm like, who is that? I'm like, and then I got over next to you. I'm like, oh, hi.
Hey.
I'm like, is
Yeah.
that somebody new? Did Lily find somebody new to bring on here?
I normally work out at 8:50, but my day like kind of I slept through my alarm, and so I was like doing stuff for work, and I noticed the time. I'm like 10 o'clock. I'm like, Lily's usually working out. I should pop on. That'd be really fun. And so I did, and it was really great. So it was a great time seeing you.
Well,
Girl.
it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was good to see you this morning and chat and catch up because it's been a while.
I know, seriously. Yeah, absolutely. But hopefully if I have time, again, I'll be able to pop back on now that I know the schedule and I have the link.
I'm on at noon your time.
Okay, that's good to know too. I might be
Yeah.
able to catch you on Mondays because we have a staff meeting and I normally can't work out beforehand. So
Yeah, and there's people on before Lily jumps on too.
well, I know
Another
Sue's
lady
on at like 5:30 in the morning, which is
Yeah.
That's
mm-mm,
very early. Yes.
that's very ambitious.
All right, ladies.
Well, yeah,
All right.
there's a whole bunch of people on. Sue is on early.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Carol, everybody. There's a
And
yeah.
Jess
Jess
is
is-
on. Mhm.
All right. Well, I might have to pop on tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Sounds good. I'll
All
see you
right.
It was
Like,
fun.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
later.
Bye. Bye.